Here is a mini riddle for you all. What do the following situations have in common? Situation number 1. 2 preschool boys get in a fight and one of them hits the other one. Situation number 2. A boy in middle school can't seem to give his female classmate a break. He constantly insults her every time the two are forced to interact. And situation number 3. A man is very drunk at a bar. He has been hitting on a very pretty woman all night, but to no avail. The woman finally introduces the man to her boyfriend, in hopes that he will finally leave her alone, but instead, the man is so irritated that this woman is not interested in him that he gets into a physical altercation with the boyfriend. So, what is the common theme here? The answer is that in all 3 situations, the boy's behavior can and often will times be excused and brushed aside with 4 simple words. Boys will be boys. Think about it. In the first situation, the boy's teacher would likely say something along the lines of, "They're boys, you just have to let them fight and get it over with." In the second situation, the girl's parents would probably tell her that the boy is only mean to her because he has a crush on her. And in the third situation, most onlookers would probably brush it off with a simple, "Well, that's just how guys get out their anger." We don't tend to think much of these types of situations, because they happen all the time, but this boys will be boys mindset is a dangerous one to have. Think about if these situations were the exact same, except swap the boy out for a girl. If a preschool-aged girl got into a physical fight with a classmate, her parents would likely be horrified and worry, what if our daughter has anger issues? If a girl were constantly verbally abusive towards a classmate, her classmates would likely call her a bitch, and she would likely become a social outcast. And if a grown woman got into a physical fight with another grown woman, onlookers would likely ridicule her and encourage her to grow up, use her words, and act like a lady. It does not seem to be socially acceptable for women to express their more severe emotions in any way other than, well, crying. If a woman is angry and she doesn't deal with it by drowning her sorrows in a tub of ice cream, she is labeled as unladylike, and most people will probably tell her that she has anger issues. We encourage and expect angry women to fight with their words instead of with their fists, but we do not uphold these same expectations for the men in the same society. The phrase "boys will be boys" can be linked back to our good friend toxic masculinity. Men are expected to be tough, dominant, and competitive, and are expected to suppress their more feminine emotions. Men are not shamed for dealing with their stronger emotions in violent ways. If a man gets into a physical fight or something within that vein, he is excused. People who uphold the boys will be boys mindset will forgive violent men with a simple, "Well, that's just how men express their emotions. They need to get it out of their system somehow." But this is extremely harmful for men. If a woman expresses her rage in an unhealthy way, she is told by society that she probably has anger issues and that she needs to work on those. If a man does the exact same thing, no one bats an eye or says anything about anger issues, which can be dangerous. If we just automatically dismiss every time an angry man gets violent, we are neglecting the possibility of potential anger issues within that man that may be being left untreated and are probably getting worse. On another note, we use the phrase "get it out of their system" when talking about angry men, but this should not be the case. Men need to be encouraged to feel the emotions that they are feeling, both the good and the bad. It is irresponsible to simply allow them to be reckless and violent if it helps them get anger out of their system. And instead, we must incite them to acknowledge when they are feeling angry, sad, frustrated, or anything within that vein, and let them know that those emotions are normal, and that the best way to deal with them is by letting oneself actually feel those emotions. Now that we've discussed how this mindset is harmful to both women and men, it's time to get out there and do your part to put a stop to this type of letting it slide behavior. As individuals, stop excusing violent behavior in boys and men. If you notice your young son getting unreasonably angry at something, the best thing to do is sit him down and explain to him what is acceptable and what is unacceptable when it comes to dealing with his strong emotions. Teaching boys from a young age how to healthily deal with their anger will help them immensely in the long run of their lives.